greetings. Join us. Okay. All right. Today is the Blue Beings from Sirius. Z is Spirit Guide. I was going to put in the title Trickster Guide. I don't think he's liking that too much. That's just too bad. It's been a while, a great many of years. I don't think I've ever mentioned that about him before, but we're going to mention him tonight. Steve Jobs in Afghanistan Healing. Okay, so yeah, I did feel a timeline shift where they were going to do things a little bit sooner and later. Of course, I wasn't sure what to think of it yesterday, but it doesn't. Yeah, still in the middle of the week, or I don't know, it's hard to say right now. Things keep shifting there, but either way, September. We're leading up to something. It's just not making itself clear at this time. So I have to put out fear or anything like that. The blue beings from Sirius, basically, these are beings that were, through my, your cat back there. That's Fritzy. Yeah, they like to have blinds over here, and they like to crash into them. They just like to knock into them. They already broke 3. But they're already broken already, but they kind of helped it out a little bit. So, anyway, the blue beings are, through my, world takeover situation, kind of affected them. Like wiped out their planet when it wasn't supposed to be taken out. So it's a way of giving back. Special effects in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. I can hear it pretty well. So these blue beings are water beings from Sirius, kind of like an ocean world, I'm assuming. They can be above the ocean and under the ocean. Either way, as long as their energy field. Z, the trickster energy, trickster spirit guide. I'm not going to channel Z, but I'm going to go into what Z is, and maybe I'll help people. Steve Jobs taking over world taking over. For those two. Like my furniture, it's all invisible. Anyway, Steve Jobs had a lot of times of manipulating worlds himself. And I do seem like working with a supercomputer. Steve Jobs himself seems pretty, he's got a dark side. He used it very much in the universe. So it just feels like he was pretty good at connecting with machines and having them do what he wanted them to do. Let's put it that way. And they do had a nice design about them from what I can feel here. I talked about this before, probably ages ago, but it's come back through recently. So, and also Afghanistan energy, we'll just have to see where that goes. We'll go into, the Earth consciousness connected to Afghanistan to give us some idea of where that's going. How about that? That'll be at the end, though. And also the energies of Afghanistan and this, we'll just see how. We'll see. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Cybertalk.com, we have private sessions. We have a shop here. I'm on the 20th for some people, or 19th. Same situation here. Webinar. Social network behind the scenes, and website. Those two are going at it. So, the video yesterday. I recorded it earlier. I didn't have any energy to do another video, and luckily I had that, so that worked out pretty good. Before I go into the blue beings, I'm going to go into Z a little bit. So I'm just going to go into the details. So when I got started, I connected to kind of like a tarot card reader. She did hypnotherapy also for past lives. Not like that they do the QHH. It's more just like a meditation where she walks you through it. But she, she's the one that helped me open up my guides, and I saw Atlantis being wiped out. Of course, I blame myself for it. I saw like a million people die, and I felt blamed for it. I'm blaming myself for it, or I was doing it deliberately, one of the two. Uh, but she had a guide by the name of Z, and he seemed to be okay at first until you get to know him, and he gets mad at you. Like he gets, she would do like email texts. Like you say, life isn't going anywhere. I don't know what the hell to do with myself. And Z would get pissed off, and his lady will type up something all kind of not so pleasant, not cuss words, but it's like this is a supposedly spirit guide, but more like a trickster energy. I mean, this lady was nice, but she didn't. I mean, Z told her that she won't have any relationship, that she has a relationship with him, and I mean, her abilities were really good, but jeez, lovely. And yeah, Z would just come after. I mean, he came after me about a couple of times. Just I'm not gonna go into details, but anyway, he got pissed off at me like twice. I couldn't believe how her guy would just get mad at me all the time. So it's like, after that, it's like, man, what a scumbag. It's like, I'm assuming he's still with her. I know it sounds weird saying that, but I'm assuming she still has that guide around her. I mean, her direction, her methods are positive. Never like misguided me or anything like that. But when I was trying to connect to a more positive, I was trying to get rid of my spirit guide. I got an entity attached to me that was negative, but I wasn't sure about it at first. And Z said, just don't bring in anything negative. I was like, okay. And I ended up doing it. I didn't know it. And then I got rid of it. And Z told me off. It's like, I mean, first off, I learned a lot from that. I can handle it. I can get rid of it, which not many people probably can do easily. Just get candles and go into a meditation and hope for the best. You just look for the darkness, the energy signature, and remove it. Obviously, that's easier said than done, but I got rid of it. I heard it speak. It's just creepy. It's like sound like a creature, basically. It's nice. But with Z was just kind of an asshole about it. It's like he's supposed to be this loving guide, and it's like he's a dick. It's like, are you going to be constructive with this, or are you just going to tell me off? So that's her guide. So this is what got me. I mean, this is my introduction to spirit guides. So after that, it's like, fuck these guys. I mean, I had Ulysses that was kind of screwed up too. So it's like, I got to do a Z. It was a trickster energy. And I got my guy that's kind of wishy-washy himself. So it's like, my introduction to the spirit world is not doing so good right now. So it's like, I know we're supposed to put him on a high plateau, but I don't know about that. About a low plateau instead. So it's not for everybody, but just for be aware of trickster. I mean, my guy Ulysses, I end up getting fired. He got himself fired basically. He wasn't trickster energy, but he might have been compromised in some way or some kind of. He was always like that though. Just a one way to get to know the other realms that are here. I mean, it's education when you get down to it. So yeah, it's not that great. But you gotta learn somehow. Some of us just go through 1 pound beating after the other. It's just the way it is. Do it so you don't have to. Steve Jobs energy. I can see if I can channel it. I'm not sure if I'm going to go get with that one because I feel like I'm being blocked all the time to tap into it. But I feel like Steve Jobs definitely has the dark side of manipulating worlds and realities. I mean, he did that already selling his stuff. So, but this is more like supercomputer energies. I don't think he's been an AI being. He probably has been, but they're not really probably. Well, I see him as like half man, half machine. No surprise there. I mean, it's just him as Steve Jobs here. I feel it's him giving back for all the stuff he did. There's different ways of clearing out karma. I figure that's the vibe I'm getting from him, at least right now, because he did some pretty messed up stuff. Oh, he found out temperature gauges of how to weaken a planet. Gee, wonder who was working with on that one. I just got a vision today, or I mean, I've talked about this before, but actually, I can feel his energy today. Well, not. I got like a message about it. I wasn't looking for it. I guess I'm getting somewhere. I guess in life. Uh, but yeah, like I said, I brought it up before, but I'm not sure if it's going to come through a channeling. But the vibe, I guess, maybe trying to clear his name. His name is all that. Well, anyway. Well, it was pretty bad to people. It was pretty horrible. I mean, not like he's just a bully. Yeah, quite a lot of darkness. So if you say like, yeah, he's manipulating worlds and all that, it's like, well, he technically manipulated this place and all this stuff. So, but yeah, where you traded employees and stuff like that. Yeah, that kind of fits because he wants to do things right, but once again, it feels like he had to do he's clearing his karma, and even when he got sick, I believe it's still part of his. I mean, people say it's an alien attack or whatever, and that might be true, but some of it has to do with karma. That it's like we're taking you away from this place. You did what you were here to do. Now it's time to go because he got his pancreas cancer like right after he get his career going. So you can look at it in that in different ways. He got assassinated or whatever it might be, or just you look at it from any point of view you want. It doesn't really matter. So, yeah, just for jobs doing just obviously if I can channel the energies of that, it won't be jobs, it won't be Z. Well, probably go into some of these subject matters at least. Give some kind of a point of view. I guess I feel our turning energies can do that. I guess, yeah. So, I guess Steve Jobs was one of them until he got pulled over to the dark side of selling people phones or whatever the hell he's doing. Well, this was kind of like Black Project type of technologies, where you can read the DNA of the Archon energy and manipulate it and have it like kind of go stealth on planets and realities and kind of screw with realities on people. Jeez, that's nice. Well, his legacy is going to look a little bit different after this. We should have a week of Steve Jobs. No, I'm not doing that. Okay. All right, going to the blue beings. And might go into Z and Steve Jobs through the blue beings. We'll see. Okay. All right. Blessings. Greetings. Yes, we are from Sirius. We are the blue beings, or we don't really need to go into our name. Yes, we found a perfection. Our planet found a healing mechanisms to go through the chakras, and even for the soul to find itself, without going through a lot what this world went through, or going through. Basically mastered understanding the self. And our process basically, it's kind of like taking supplements to heal yourself. We take energy healing to unravel some connections you have, especially with other people, of course. Other people do mask your energy, they make you forget who you are. And as you can see here, so you have a consciousness there that part of the amnesia is actually a consciousness. Now, many of you probably didn't come up to you like that. It's like, oh, you just blank your memory and that's all. There's actually an entity here for that. You can look at it any other way, but it is basically a force that knows what's best for this world. Of course, many wish to open themselves up. But there's also dangers of opening up too soon. So it's an entity. It's not a Men in Black force. That's different. That's more government connected. Is this basically the world does not need to know itself just yet, because it has have a great deal of self hatred for itself. Not everyone, but quite a few, especially those that are living in poverty, obviously, because they feel like they could do more in their life. Fame and fortune, they can actually rebuild and help people. You probably heard that story over and over again, but not being able to help themselves, is being stagnant in their lives, not even wanting to find happiness, just find misery. So some just need to go to the timeline of misery to find oneself. And this can go on for 10 years, 20 years, forever, lifetime after lifetime, just miserable lifetime after the other. Because some have made a lifestyle of it. That's all they know. Now you can look at it from a lower frequency, but it is basically part of the soul growth. So a lot of the lower dimensions is kind of like a magic of your reality. Obviously not seen that way. There's a certain stereotype towards it. But basically, your world is like medicine for the soul. It's not easy. So our world helped assist it, like of a high frequency of a sense of knowing. Basically, your world could have brought it to a higher frequency, as some of you probably felt. Not just through Atlantis, but just basically as humans become more aware of their abilities, help raise the frequencies just by connecting to others, like groups. Why do you think so many people are wanting to be a part of a group or a collective? Because that's where you are with your most power, because you're a collective energy connecting to each other. But our world, our message from our world to yours, yes, to better get to know oneself is yes to remove the fear, of course. But sometimes, once again, many need that fear. Well, to go slowly, it slows everything down, but not entirely. Many do choose the fear timeline forever, and not just in this lifetime, but 20 and 30 lifetimes. But then it's funny how those that are very fearful end up getting in places of power because some of them somehow sell themselves out. And not even, well, they are aware of it, but they're not aware of it in the physical. So it's another way of healing a soul is putting them into fame. Of course, that can be self-destructive energy, but also can help the soul figure itself out a little bit quicker. So many are reliant on that soul to heal, to awaken, and not realizing the soul that's doing that is been through a great deal. So there's many layers of your earth. Yes, your trickster beings. Of course, your world has a great deal. Trickster beings are always trying to get to you, especially when you're born. Now, they can show up when you get older with more sophisticated vibrations around them. Most likely, they knew you before you were born. So if you have trickster energy, because they have to know who you are. Yes, they already kind of know you before, but not yes and no. So they have to keep themselves cloaked so they can shut you down eventually, physically. So an entity that is in another dimension can manifest itself into a physical reality, meaning by manipulating somebody into thinking their thoughts to get them to do what they want. It does happen. Well, we'll just say it happens. Steve Jobs' vibration is actually Steve Jobs is like a lost soul, a young soul to a certain extent, but one that has big ideas. One that is to actually heal the heart chakra, heal his own chakras. We heal the chakras through his product, but still, it's still not there. Meaning that his energy field is still stuck here on Earth. I think some of you have an idea of that. Now, some of these individuals are like a mad scientist that can move technologies very quickly, and Jobs was one of them. Obviously, there's more details than that. Basically, Jobs had a technology where you build a ship out of very few parts, which is a little bit strange to see that, but you had to have some of his technology to do this. Obviously, to speak, not many have these things, but yes. Blessings. Greetings you. I am the Earth's consciousness. Your Afghanistan is, you obviously are not getting the full story. There is much more that is of your U.S. people that are still there. And of course, there's secret codes in your media. Basically, see your media not having the same strength anymore in your future. Many are leaving it. They're running out of tricks to keep you enthralled into their vibration. So this is actually an age of more 5D, but also 6th dimension energies. But the 6th dimension also brings problems with some of you who are tuned into those frequencies and release them. You're basically going into a time that also these humans become larger, taller, actually. Well, some are becoming more larger in the waist, but that will eventually be healed and many will become taller over time. Not yet, of course. Afghanistan is basically kind of a riddle. It's an excuse to fail. It's manufactured failure. It's done. Oh, we have these caves. We have this. Is all excuses. But that's not what we're here to go. Instead, part of it. We connect to another part of your Earth's vibration. We connect to Afghanistan's frequency for one moment. What's this? Greetings. I am the Afghanistan consciousness. Yes, of course, you're United States. Well, United States is part of Afghanistan now. Kind of like Afghanistan is like a state of the United States, even if it's not officially called that, but technically it is. So it's kind of like a spaceport. Is a place for future construction, possibly going into space. Obviously hostile for many reasons, to keep your average person out. What are they doing there? To begin with, your government has not left, but they're doing things illegally. Yes, there's many different layers to it. But yes, they say they're doing one thing, but it's a far less situation. They're doing much more. So it is basically what they're hiding there. It is mostly underground. Is it technologies from alien beings? It is ancestry of the alien beings, you can say. And it just has magic all over. Many souls that can do time travel there very easily. I believe also, yes, there's many that are actually time travelers there, sometimes causing trouble. But they can also switch. They can actually, a time traveler can come into someone's body. Of course, when that person put the acknowledgement to do so. It's not necessarily a walk-in. It is not exactly an invasion, but it is, there's no word for it. It's a connection. But time travelers can take over a body. Of course, you're not going to know that. It's not spoken for often, of course. So some of you might detect that. It's like, is this my parent or is this somebody else here? It is actually quite common. Time travelers incarnate as people to kind of, they like switch. Yes, they take the soul and they kick it out using technology, and then they bring themselves in just for a matter of time. They only have so much time to do that. Obviously, many of you are not going to rush to your store and get a time traveling technology, but some of you might be able to tap into those frequencies. A lot of it's happening in Afghanistan because turning things around. Obviously, I'm not going to go into detail of where they come from, or I would just leave you with that. So time traveling, yes, time travelers are not going to go into the full details, but realize there's many curtains, obviously, of your reality. Your September is a link to some of your mysteries that will be released. Now, they might not make these artifacts discovered publicly, but there is actually some places that already discovered. Reason why you're going through yes, a distraction, but we find there's technologies that have been hidden here that have been discovered recently. Obviously, we're in another realm and being channeled, we can't see everything at this time. Obviously, we're not always supposed to. There's a lot of helicopter energies, technology. Basically, we're helicopter. it's hard to really describe what else is happening in Afghanistan, but obviously in the mountains, in the near middle of Afghanistan, you can say. Well, sort of by your capital. But your capital of Afghanistan is not exactly what it seems to be, meaning it is a front. The entire capital of Afghanistan is a front. It's not what they say it is. For various reasons, it's been set up, designed to be as what it looks like. That's far from it. And we'll let you tap into those frequencies because, yes, there's only so much, yes, truth one can handle as they begin to get used to your world being very different than it is today. Future time traveler energies, they're not the easiest to detect, as some of you might realize. Some might have a family member that feels like you have a time traveler being that came in. But because they incarnate for that moment, with kind of the soul switch, and they have a mission and they do accomplish it. It is for your safety, obviously, beings who are not here for your safety. And those are the ones that they get people obsessed over them. Yes, there's a layer of here that's not going to be brought up just now, but there's a layer of manipulation that will get its light when the time is right.